First guest tonight, swaggered, sockless, straight into our hearts on the television classic Miami Vice. You can see him now as a shady small-town police chief in the Netflix movie Rebel Ridge. Please welcome Don Johnson. Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good.
It must be great to be Don Johnson.
It's not bad.
I was thinking about it this afternoon. I was thinking, I'll never be Don Johnson. I mean, nobody will ever be. Even people named Don Johnson won't be Don Johnson.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I bet there are. Yeah. Except for you. You're the main guy. You're the number one guy.
Yeah, they all fall in line behind appropriately.
That's right. I saw you on television, courtside, at the Knicks-Pacers game.
Yeah.
You were with John McEnroe. Were you with him, or you just happened to be seated with him?
No. We're pals. We've known each other for like 40 years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, in some crazy situations, but...
Oh, go ahead.
No. No, none of them that I can talk about. No, he's a great guy.
How did you
love
meet?
John.
How did you meet McEnroe?
He came down to Miami when I was doing the show, and we met backstage at a Billy Joel concert or something. I don't know. It could have been U2. It was. It's so long ago, and there were so many of them. I don't remember. But,
yeah. And then you stayed friends. You stayed in touch.
Yeah, stayed close, stayed in touch, and I took him to a Laker. In fact, I took him to those three guys, David Zaslav, Bob Costas, and John McEnroe, to the Lakers game. And they were playing the Knicks. And the first half, of course, the Knicks were just killing the Lakers.
Which game was this?
It was right towards the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
And so when they were cheering on the Knicks were killing them, I'm going, okay, what happens? Now I'm with these friends, and what happens in the second half when the Lakers come out and, kick their ass? So I said right before the halftime, I said, now listen, when the Lakers come out in the second half and kick you guys out, I don't want to hear any whining. I don't want to hear any, grousing over there.
Yes, of course.
And, of course, the Lakers did come out and kick their ass in the second half. And now I'm sitting with these guys, and then they're, looking at me like, why did you do that to us?
Because you're Don Johnson, and they're not.
I'm Don Johnson, and I can change the score of the game.
Do the players come over and talk to you during the game?
Well, actually, at the Knicks game, T.J. McConnell came over and said, was sitting there quite a while. By the way, I knew they were going to win the game because I was in the huddle. And
oh, you were really?
Oh, I was right there.
You got a sense of their confidence?
No, I heard the whole thing. They said, oh, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to run their asses off. And that's exactly what they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so T.J. McConnell came over and he goes, hey, man, I'm a big fan, Eastbound and Down, Django Unchained, And he starts going through the top 10, and I go, oh, yeah, that's great, man. And I said, I like watching you guys. You're a great player. You're not very tall. He goes, yeah, it works out for me.
Yeah, he's a point guard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his sister plays in the WNBA.
That may be so. I cannot confirm that.
Well, I can, yes. You were also friends with Larry Bird. Are you still friends with Larry Bird?
I haven't seen him in a long time. But,
yeah. I didn't know Larry Bird even really had friends. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't mean that as a slight to Larry. He just doesn't seem like he goes and does anything.
I know what you mean, but because he kind of carries that sort of, dead-eyed gunslinger thing.
Yeah.
But I went to see him one time at the Garden at Boston Gardens when it was still the Boston Gardens, and he sent word out to come back to the locker room after the game, and so I said, okay, sure. I mean, what the heck? And so I go back there, and I'm standing there, and I'm talking to he and Kevin McHale, and I think I can tell this story because the gentleman that I'm talking about has already passed, but I was standing there, and we're kind of shooting the breeze and stuff, and I turn and I look, and coming out of the showers is Dennis Johnson.
Okay.
And Dennis Johnson's Johnson is the star of the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of, what the?
It was that, like...
No, dude, it was a statement.
In a shower full
Yeah.
of very tall people.
No, dude,
and DJ was not that tall.
No, they're all much taller than me and bigger.
And as a fellow Johnson, that has got to be interesting. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So as it turns out, I turned back to Larry and Kevin McHale, and I went like this, and they going, right? No. and so, but the coup de grace is that when I'm leaving the arena, he is in the tunnel with his wife, who is this tall. And I just had to stop there for a minute and go, yeah, the math doesn't really work on this.
Well, I think Dennis would be very pleased.
That I'm bragging about his junk on national
you know
television.
what? That's how I hope my funeral will go.
Yeah, I've already written those out for me. So.
At my funeral, I hope they're not able to close the casket, you know? You seem to know everybody, it feels like, but maybe it's not true. But here you are. I believe this is 1975. You're backstage at an Allman Brothers concert. You got Chuck Leavell from the band there. You've got Jimmy Carter, and you've got Dickie Betts, and then there's you hanging out. What's happening? Oh, and it's signed by Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
But not to you. Somehow we got hold of this, and...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember that photo, but we were all stoned.
Wait, even Jimmy?
I don't know about him.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to cast any aspersions on the former president, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we were all, I think Dickie's smoking a joint there. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, he's smoking something.
Yeah,
sure,
we were.
And Jimmy Carter's just hanging out. I know he was friends with the Allman Brothers, right?
Well, we actually did a concert to support his campaign. And then when we got invited to the White House, well, then the fun began.
You were part of that concert, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you mean the fun began at the White House? Nobody has fun there, do they?
Oh, well.
Oh, wait, yes, I have heard Willie Nelson had fun there.
Yeah, we all
had Is that the kind of fun you had there?
Say that again?
Did you smoke at the White House?
I don't know how to answer this.
Well,
yes, I guess
you did. You did. Okay. You know what?
Yeah, I was there several times.
How many times were you at the White House?
Well, I was there for every president since Carter. And I slept at the White House, and when I stayed there and represented the U.S. for the Albertville Olympics with George H.W. Bush.
Oh,
who was fantastic. He was a great guy.
Did he get high? Was he a stoner?
No, but he wanted to gamble when we played golf.
He did?
Yeah, at Camp David.
Really?
Yeah, and so I took his money. Yeah.
You did? Come on, let me ask seriously. You played golf with President Bush, and then at the end of the round, he had to reach in his wallet and give you money?
That's right. And I'll tell you something else. He's a trash talker.
He is?
Yeah, and he ran into a buzzsaw, because so am I.
How much did you get from Bush?
Oh, it wasn't that much. 18, 20 bucks.
Okay.
But that's the best 18 or 20 bucks you'll ever get.
You're absolutely right. Don Johnson is with us. Rebel Ridge.
Now, you sustained minor injuries after colliding with a patrol vehicle, and you were offered but refused medical assistance at the scene. Seems like to me any harm that's come to you is of your own doing. Now, currently, and under false pretenses, you are in a secure area. So I'm going to ask you if you'd be so kind as to cut off your recording device and exit my station.
You betcha.
That is Don Johnson in Rebel Red, which was a huge hit on Netflix, and also...
Yeah, the only people that don't know about it are Netflix.
No, I think they know it. You feel like they don't? You feel like they don't?
Well, I kind of had to remind Ted. I said, you know, you ought to watch this. It's pretty good. and then I think he finally did, because it was #1 on the network or on
Yeah,
the
it was a
platform for
big thing and well reviewed and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm grateful for it, though.
You're playing Crooked Police Chief. Again, you played on Watchmen, which you were fantastic, and you were a Crooked Police Chief.
Yeah.
Worse than crooked, perhaps.
But I didn't know I was crooked then.
You didn't know you were crooked. Is it more fun to be a crooked policeman than...
It's great to play the bad guy.
Yeah, it is. Huh?
Yeah, it's great to play the bad guy because usually the leading guys are usually written two-dimensionally. And playing a bad guy, you have to find the humanity in them. And sometimes that's very difficult. Mm-hmm. But if you find the humanity in them, then when they come with the goods, you go, oh, wow, that's meaningful,
You're one of the great television cops of all time. Sonny Crockett on Miami Vice is like the coolest guy. And I wonder if people who aren't of my age or older know how huge that show was. It wasn't just that there were so many people watching. How many people were watching that show?
Well, this was, this was back when there were 4 networks.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and so we would get 40 to 50 million people every Friday night at 10 o'clock.
Right.
And that was a big deal because people wouldn't go out on their dates or anything until after 10 o'clock. It was like a thing. And I don't know, there's really no way to compare it, and certainly not for the length of time, but it was Beatles-like when it was on the air.
People started dressing like you.
Yeah.
The music, when you guys would play a song on the show, it would instantly become a hit.
Yeah.
People stopped shaving because of you.
Yeah. And wearing socks.
And
sometimes not so successful.
I would also add that it wasn't all positive. Sometimes you ran into a bump or two in the road. For instance, and this became a national story. I remember this. This became a thing because you weren't wearing a seatbelt on the show.
Look at the look on my face.
You look guilty.
It looks like, all right, you caught me. I mean,
the caption is great, too. Don Johnson, buckle seat belt off the set. Yeah, and then it became like a whole big thing to the point where you had to do like a PSA campaign, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
and guess what we did?
Tell me.
We went and we found the PSA campaign because that is the kind of thing that we do, and we have it.
Now, this is a pretty nice sports car. I drive something like it on Miami Vice. And if you watch the show, you know that we don't wear seatbelts when we're chasing around after the bad guys. It just wouldn't work out so well if Crockett was wearing a seatbelt. It wouldn't be as exciting and dangerous. That's okay for Sonny Crockett, but not for me. Because this is my life. One I'm having a pretty good time with.
Very responsible, really so responsible. I feel like I have to ask, do you still take seatbelt safety seriously?
I take seatbelts very seriously.
I would hope so, because it's very important.
And so should you, because it's important to always be safe
But
in everything you do. Everything.
Johnson, everybody. Rebel Ridge is on Netflix now. Thank you, Don. We'll be back with Oscar Ocasco. Guillermo, do you know how many subscribers we have on YouTube now?
20 million.
That's right. Yeah, that's why we're wearing these glasses. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not, help us get to 20,000,001.